podcast.
Hey, I'm Chase.
I'm Bowen.
And I'm Cole.
Alrighty, perfect. So if you guys were here last week, actually we talked about a few trades that went on, and one of the big ones was Giroux. But the trade deadline was on Monday. So quite a lot of trades went through actually. I think 33, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into most of the trades, pretty much all the big ones, and pretty much give our opinion. Nothing too special or too crazy, but kind of wrap up what's been happening at the deadline.
Yeah, It
was an exciting trade deadline, I thought.
Yeah.
There was lots of action, big contracts moving, big guys moving, so it was nice to see. I thought maybe this year with the tight salary cap that it was going to be a dull and boring one, but happy to see how it played out.
I think only one three-team trade happened.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that the Arizona Coyotes didn't soak much salary
at all.
Or was that No, maybe that trade was it was the one with Dadonov, wasn't it? That got voided.
Yeah.
Was that the three-team trade at the end?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So, there's no three-team trades, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start off with the Dadonov trade. I guess we can break that down for anyone that might not be fully understanding it.
Yeah. So I guess if you guys heard today, Wednesday, the Dadonov trade did get voided. It was within their the clause of the contract agreement saying that Dadonov did not want to get traded to Anaheim, and so basically what happened, if you didn't hear about the trade involved Vegas going to Anaheim, which was unallowed, and today it got voided, and they're basically not allowed to play, or they can't have the player. So
well, from Vegas' standpoint, from Dadonov being traded to Ottawa to Vegas, they didn't understand that. They didn't know there was a trade implication on his no move.
Yeah.
They thought he missed the deadline of July 1st to set his picks of where he did not want to go. But he actually did. And then when the trade went through, he actually had the Ducks on a no move, which he is now ultimately waived to not go to the Ducks.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting point. If I'm Dadonov, that's a tough look. This is a team that wants to make a deep playoff run. They just acquired Eichel.
Why would you go anywhere?
It's tough, but the other part of it was Dadonov leaving was to open up cap room for the Vegas Golden Knights, which we all know they do not have any.
Which actually leads into this rule that not many people know about. The Golden Knights can still trade the forward to a team that is not included on his no-trade list.
Can they?
They can still trade.
I haven't heard about that. That's interesting.
It's a rule that, what does it say? However, Dadonov will not be eligible for the postseason if the new team makes it.
Oh, okay.
So, or another rule was I think he can't play until 2022-2023 as well.
So he either sits out or he's just not involved in the playoffs, which to me that doesn't create any value for any team.
No.
I mean, maybe you're a team sitting at the bottom of the standings and you take them, but
Arizona.
I wouldn't want to do anything to make your team better, I guess, in this point in the game. There's about 20 games left for each team, so you're kind of looking and finding where you're going to come on in the draft to start narrowing down who you're going to pick.
Like the only teams that would be interested would be teams looking for draft picks to go along with it.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if Vegas can acquire people or acquire any asset back.
Yeah. This could be a rumor too, but I was looking on Twitter and it sounds like they already had a deal kind of marked up with Arizona in case this fell through.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Which that wouldn't be bad for Arizona, but I don't know if Arizona really... Because they're trying to get enough cap to reach the floor minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe Dadonov's paid about $5 million.
He is $5 million.
So that would... A $5 million contract will get them up a bit further.
Yeah, to get them to the minimum. Right?
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want to be underneath the minimum, but I mean, Arizona is... I don't know how they're doing it, but...
I think it's kind of a shitty situation too, because they may have to pay some guys a little more than they're really worth, which makes them hard to move if they ever wanted to make a team out of this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's with the 4 contracts they have right now, or maybe they have another one now after trade deadline. Like you're gonna make contracts that are not healthy for the organization moving forward, especially from the pit they're in. So for the rebuild future for them, you're basically throwing money at people.
Yeah. And they did extend my boy, Gabriel Velmelka.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did. Yeah, I saw that.
That'll put some more cap room on it. I'm a little disappointed the Leafs didn't pick him up, but
yeah, it's a shame that Leafs didn't get any goalie.
Yeah, that's a good segue into the next portion that we're going to talk about is our winners and losers, and just go over the trade
Oh,
deadline.
yeah.
The trades that actually went through this week or
Yeah.
past few days.
Should we list them off quick?
Yeah, may as well.
We'll do the notable ones. So we have the Rangers who acquired Vetrano, Justin Braun, Andrew Kopp, Tyler Mott. The Leafs went out and got Giordano, Colin Blackwell. The Avalanche got Josh Manson, Nico Sturm, Andrew Cogliano. The Panthers picked up Ben Sherratt and Claude Giroux, two very big names. Will add a lot of depth to their lineup. Boston added Hampus Lindholm, which was one of the most desirable D-men after Chychrun was not available to go. Or no one saw a deal with him. Washington brought back Johansson from Seattle. I believe there was a little bit of debate about that one because that's who they gave up in the
Expansion draft.
So-
I don't think it was. They gave up their goaltender and they got him back.
Oh, that's correct.
I think
Yeah.
Johansson was not too sure exactly what team he was on, but he was selected in the draft, obviously.
Okay.
But it was a different team at that time.
I see. So they just brought him back to Washington.
Yeah.
All right. So then Calgary got Cal Yarncock and Ryan Carpenter. Edmonton picked up Derek Brassard. Minnesota got Tyson Jost, Nick Delorier, Fleury, Middleton. Penguins, Ricard Raquel, and the Hurricanes got Max Domi.
Wait. What was the Calgary acquisitions they got?
It was Cal Yarncroc.
Oh, Yarncroc. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That's the guy I know.
Yeah,
actually.
we got me there.
Yeah,
Okay,
wow.
I missed the R. The R.
Holy.
Yarncock.
That's where one of the nicknames he gets too.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna be the cock when he moves over to
Yeah.
Calgary. No, we'll see.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Alright, so
Honestly, I guess we can just by looking at the list here, the Rangers acquired, I'd say, the most players.
most impactful
Yeah,
deadline,
like
arguably.
those players are those are just not no-namers, right?
Yeah. Those are all guys that we thought would. I don't know.
Either
You guys
stick
are
on a
thinking
team, I
this,
think.
but I would never assume that all four of those guys are going to make it to the same team.
No.
No, you wouldn't. No, but like Vetrano, I think at this time, I don't think Florida even wanted to get rid of him, especially with Ekblad on the LTIR. They probably could have pulled some strings to keep Vetrano, but at that time, they probably didn't think Ekblad was gonna get injured, and they wanted Ben Sherratt at the time.
Yeah, I like it. I also liked what the Avalanche did. I really liked the Nico Sturm pickup, and Cogliano had some fourth line depth and a guy that could probably play on the power play as well.
I love the Manson trade. I think the Manson trade just really, really bolsters that defense.
Oh my gosh!
Like-
yeah. If you thought they couldn't get any better, they
That's
just
what
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're already an absolute wagon from
Yeah.
what they were before.
It's
I think the Manson pickup alone is
It's threatening on the
Solid
blue line,
one.
right? Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
pairing that's out there has like a pretty good experience in the NHL, not alone, or a really talented player.
there's firepower in every aspect of that
Yeah.
lineup for
It's
sure.
a very dynamic D group too. You guys that can score very easily, and you also have a lot of guys that can play the shutdown role.
Did you guys hear what Josh Manson said about Cale Makar?
No.
One of his, I think it was like a press release after, and he's like, this guy goes on the line with him, and he's like, Josh Manson's always saying to Cale Makar, nice shift, great shift out there, great shift, guys, like great shift, awesome shift. Every shift that Cale Makar comes back on the bench, he's
Yeah.
always saying that.
I mean, how do you not compliment the guy when you go out there and watch him, right? Like,
Yeah,
if you're playing with him, you're probably just in awe about how good he
The
is.
best
Yeah.
defenseman in the league right now. How
Yeah.
do you not?
He's not even- he's not
Stuff
even
like
slow.
that.
I haven't really seen a sign where he actually like slowed down yet, right?
No.
Like no real like bump in the road.
No, he's all gas, no brakes.
Right,
Yeah.
100%.
No bump on the road.
Yeah, I would say
knock
knock
on
on
wood
wood.
twice there. But I say those two teams made some big moves.
Yeah. Who's the second team you're referring to? The Panthers?
No, the Rangers and the Avs.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Yeah.
I think one of the most underrated pickups was Tyler Mott. I think
Yeah.
that was a fantastic depth move.
Mm-hmm.
He's any team in the league could use Tyler Mott,
Yeah.
including Vancouver, where they just took him from. Like every
Yeah.
team needs a guy like that.
I think he's a really good bottom six forward that adds a lot of depth. And additionally, Andrew Kopp is going to be huge for the Rangers. This is such a good forward, like good three guys to pick up that it's going to be a battle. If you're a Rangers player on the forward, like if you're playing forward, it's going to be a battle to stay in the lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want your guys to compete for ice time because it's important. Like,
Yeah. everyone's gonna play their shift, every shift like it's their last.
Do you guys want me to read out the starting lineups for the Rangers here?
Yeah,
I
if you
wouldn't
don't
mind
mind.
it. Yeah.
The first line consists of Chris Kreider. He's in like a race for the Rocky Richard.
Yep.
Zibanejad, Lafreniere. I think he's having a pretty good season this year. Lafreniere. He's
Yeah.
on the
doing
top
well.
line here.
It's a good
So
sophomore season for him.
yeah. Second line, Panarin, Strome, and then Vetrano, the guy they just got from Florida. I think they'll like him a lot. Vetrano. He's a very like underdog type of player. You don't really expect him to do well, but like he's had those games.
He's
where he
more
just
than
goes
capable.
off.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the third line, we haven't talked about much of their acquisitions yet, but we have Andrew Kopp on their third line with Philip Scheidel. I think that's how you pronounce the name, Scheidel. Dryden Hunt. And then their fourth line has Tyler Mott, Barclay Goudreau, and Ryan Reeves. Now, tell me how like this forward depth reminds you of the Tampa Bay Lightning
Yeah.
the last 2 years,
Yeah,
right?
you're very correct. I think you're spot on with that. I think it's just you look at their forward group and you're like, holy shit, how did they not lose?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Goudreau won the Stanley Cup with the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay
I
Lightning.
almost wish I could walk back now my Stanley Cup pick because I think I would take Colorado and New York now.
No way. Really?
I do, yeah. They
Over
just
Florida.
With
Okay.
Florida being the way they are,
as
we
much
haven't
as
even
I
gotten into
love-
Florida.
I
but
know we're still just getting around to Florida, but I still love the Rangers. I just think everything about their lineup speaks volumes to me.
Yeah.
And when you get goaltending like you are right
Oh,
now from
yeah.
Shesterkin,
Yeah.
it's hard not to go in like they did at the deadline and start buying.
Yeah.
Because with a goaltending like that, and if he can carry it into the playoffs, then they're going to be a scary team for
yeah,
sure.
You don't even have to touch your back end. I don't think they
No.
touched their blue line.
They
at
did.
all
They
either.
added Braun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
They
they just-
added Braun to beef up the blue line.
See, you say that, and then they added to them. How much more, of a threat did they become?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
If you didn't
'Cause I
realize they
agree
needed
with
the
you.
guy.
I agree. I didn't think they needed to add to that blue line, but they still found a way.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't deal Georgiev.
I'm surprised
Georgiev, I
too.
guess.
Me too, but in a way, this guy can, like, I don't know, he had a really good season last year, so I don't think it was worth selling him, because if he has to step in for a game or two behind Shesterkin, then I think that's exactly
a lot
what
of
you
value,
want,
though.
right?
I mean, for this deadline, I think going into it, he held a lot of value.
Yeah, but if I'm New York, I see what he did last year, and I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm letting him go to another team. If he heats up like he did last year, then he could be unstoppable too.
Part of what I would say to that is I know goalies were super valuable for teams like Toronto, obviously Minnesota, who we'll get into later. But yeah, I think when you have goaltending depth, like if Shesterkin wasn't having a Vezina season the way he is, you almost have a 1A, 1B situation where you can give each goalie the start on any night, and you can have confidence that you can win that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Like Georgiev he's not exactly Joe Blow off the street, right? So
Yeah.
this kid can play.
Yeah.
And goaltending depth in the playoffs is something that it's a rare luxury to have
Yes.
that New York has right now.
Yeah, and down the stretch, if you're playing, you could be playing up to 28 games, right? So if you need a guy to take a break or get in there for a game,
Exactly.
he could either keep it close or make sure that they pull out a random win here and there.
Yeah, and I haven't even got to the part of the guys that are injured right now. I mean, Semi Belay, I think, is the guy they got from St. Louis for
Yeah.
something with a B. I'm not too sure. And then you got Capo Caco and then Kevin Rooney. I'm not too sure where you place those guys in, but
Well, that's the thing too, is if they have that many options, then it's going to be no problem for them to sub guys in and out, which is
I think you'll
Ideally.
see, if all of them are healthy, you'll see a few different lineups in the bottom six
yeah.
in the playoffs. If things were to get a little bit tighter than they thought it would, but I think they have no problem. At least that's what makes it difficult with the East and the playoff format, because they're against
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is if you're New York, why would you give up Georgiev to an Eastern team?
yeah.
A team that you're
Yeah.
likely competing with, right?
I mean, that's why you could talk with Edmonton.
It's so tight, but then again, I don't know. Let's keep moving
Yeah,
on.
for
and
sure.
Move on.
Move into some Toronto hockey talk.
Yeah,
or
everyone's favorite.
Giordano.
Particularly Chase's favorite.
Giordano, baby.
I like the Gio trade.
I love that trade.
I think it's great for the team. Also, I think, unfortunately for Blackwell, because Giordano is such a household name, that he hasn't seen as much value from the
What
trade.
do you mean
yet.
the main part of this trade was Blackwell?
Yeah.
You know what are you
Yeah.
saying?
Exactly.
Giordano's the sweetener,
Yeah.
right?
But I do think this Blackwell trade is something that's very intriguing for the forward depth in Toronto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they needed to add one more guy, and I like Blackwell to infiltrate that bottom six and give them some more beef back there.
Is he replacing anyone right now?
Blackwell? No.
They didn't really trade away their forward depth.
No,
they didn't.
kept everyone. They basically just swapped Giordano
For
and Dermott.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Dermott still had some value left, so I think it was a great idea to get him out and put him to a team where he's still going to be able to play, because I like the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect him.
He was getting scratched some games, and
Yeah.
I think he's a good all around player that
Yeah.
he deserves is probably.
I think he just needs some more time to develop in
Yeah.
the league. And being in Toronto, they're kind of in a win now.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a winning mode.
There's no time to develop type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be
Exactly.
developed,
The
right?
players, the number one players that were all in that develop mode have all reached to the point where they're
Yeah.
all ready to win.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly that.
I mean, I love the trade. I love the fact that they added Giordano. Blackwell's great. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with the Rangers, I loved seeing that the Leafs were in talks for Tyler Mott. I did see that a couple times, and I was all over that. It's obviously not a knock on Blackwell because he's a great player and he definitely adds to the lineup. But yeah, Giordano's huge for Toronto, I think, and for the blue line there. To have someone of his
Yeah.
caliber. I mean, obviously he won the Norris Trophy a couple years back. Obviously he's likely a different player now, and he is a different player now. But yeah, I think he's definitely the guy you needed to add.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a good pickup. It wasn't obviously their main goal, but it was a.
Yeah.
They got an extra asset that they feel like can fit into their lineup.
Yeah.
That,
Did you guys also see, like, apparently Dubas was working his magic and actually, like, he was almost devaluing the
Yeah.
Giordano trade and making them more expensive for the other team.
I saw that he was
Really?
raising the price.
Yeah.
I heard specifically he was raising the price on Lindholm and what's the other name? Is it on this list?
you were saying they'd rather go for Hampus Lindholm than Giordano.
I heard that the Leafs drove up the price. Ricard Raquel. I heard that the Leafs drove up the price hard on Raquel and Lindholm.
Yeah.
Is what I was hearing specifically, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, make your competitors give up more assets for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's also huge that Dubas stuck with the plan, didn't give up a first, and didn't give up a top prospect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's a
huge.
big- no first rounder. Come
I
on.
couldn't believe
Yeah.
that.
I think that makes Leafs Nation a lot happier and a lot more settled in terms of, going into this year, because in my opinion, like, I really have a hard time seeing them win the cup this year, but I really think they need to make it past the first line.
Round.
Yeah, first round. My bad.
No, but yeah, I think it was a good move. I mean, I think we can all agree it was a pretty solid trade.
Yeah.
Do you think teams are moving away from trading their first round pick? I know the GM of the Penguins, he said they're not trading their first round pick because they think that's not the way. Ron Hextall was saying that they feel like it's not the right thing to do anymore.
Yeah, in one way or another. I don't know.
I mean, if
Well,
you're in
you
an
go.
all-win mentality, like I guess Tampa Bay trying to get I think they traded a first round pick. I would see why they won.
There were a couple first moves. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tampa did move it first, I think. Yeah, I mean, as far as those first round picks go, I would have been okay, to be quite honest with you, to see Dubas move that first rounder. I mean, not on top of what he sent, obviously, because, you gotta get some value.
Do you
But
think
yeah.
Dubas is worried that maybe he needs to use that first round pick for something?
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd say he's worried, but I think given what they gave up in that trade, he kind of had to keep a pick. I mean, the Leafs only have 3 or 4 picks this year. That's not great.
Mhm.
But going back to the first and what I was trying to say about those firsts is I would have been fine seeing him move that first round pick this year. However, next year's draft looks really deep and there's a lot of promise.
Yeah.
So I think it was key to keep the 2023 draft pick.
I think in my opinion as well with the Leafs, you kind of look at their lineup and you got guys like Spezza, Simmons. It's kind of an older group, so you kind of have to start realizing that you need the next round of the Nylanders and the Marners to come through.
You've got to develop players that can play a role, and you
Yeah.
have to draft those players because it's too expensive to sign role players for the Leafs.
And that's what the Leafs are really good at, is developing good hockey players and selling them off.
For
right?
sure.
You see guys like Hyman. Unfortunately, we didn't get to sell him, but
Yeah, I guess even
you know what I
Johansson.
mean.
Or
Yeah, like down
Janssen.
Right,
down the
yeah.
line, like they do a really good job of developing players and then either trading them or keeping them and seeing a lot of value out of them.
A piece I would have been, if this meant more moves aside from the Giordano and Blackwell trade, let that be what it is. A name I wouldn't have mind seeing shipped out of Toronto for either a depth forward or a defenseman would have been Nick Robertson. I was a little bit surprised he wasn't moved, to be quite honest, and I think the value that he holds, I think he could have...
one of the highest rookies you can have in the Toronto organization right now.
I think that's almost not their top prospect, but he's
he's
their most NHL ready,
Yeah.
I guess. And again, I wouldn't have been okay with both the first and a prospect. I would have liked to seen Robertson maybe shipped out because he does have value.
I meant to mention like the NHL ready portion of it.
Yeah, I think that he would have been a great fit on teams like LA, possibly Anaheim, who are still coming into their prime. They still have room to make him. They have room to put him on the NHL roster. I think. I don't know. I just think he had value, and I think that was a piece that could have moved.
I think that's where the Leafs kind of, in a one way or another, that's why they didn't make the additional move on top of the Giordano one, was because every other team was asking for a first rounder and a prospect. And I know Dubas was really unwilling to give up the first round and a prospect because we need Toronto needs the prospects to stay and stick around. Down the road here, we got those 4 big guys coming up to the end of their contract here in the next couple of years. So they have to
you
don't
want to think about,
future, right? All right, let's keep moving it on.
Okay, so we have we talked about those big 4.
We
like
touched
the Rangers,
on
Leafs, Avalanche, Panthers.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't touch
Boston.
on the Panthers.
I'd like to touch on the Panthers.
I would like to as well, yeah.
Yeah, Bowen, lead us off, baby.
Me? Alright, I think the Sherratt trade was great. I mean, especially with, it's Ekblad, correct?
Yeah.
Ekblad just hit the IR. I think that's a good move. I mean, I guess you don't necessarily get better from that move with Ekblad on the IR, but you have someone more than capable of playing those minutes and maybe stepping up into that role when you can. I mean, he stepped up last year in the playoffs for Montreal, and there's no reason there's no reason for him not to be able to do the same this year. The Giroux trade, I mean, it's a great trade. He's a guy you want in your lineup. He's a guy you want in your locker room. It wasn't too hard. I mean, I don't think the Flyers had too much leverage, given that Giroux said he'd only go to the Panthers. So, I mean, it was a match made in heaven if you're a Panthers GM or executive. So I think they had a great deadline. Yeah. They made their hockey team better without giving up too much. I'll open it up to you, Lyle.
I liked it. Honestly, like, considering Florida was the only place Giroux was going.
Yeah.
Kind of expect that, but I would have been interested to see where else he would have looked into if that wasn't the case, because I'm almost certain that Colorado made a huge run at him.
Yeah. That was a lot of talk about that.
I have no doubt that Colorado maybe put together a better package.
Yeah, I would say so too. I don't think they necessarily needed Giroux in terms of, because Giroux is a top 6 forward, and I think their top 6 is already pretty secure.
For sure.
I'll let Chase.
You guys want me to read off the starting lineup for this team?
Yes, please.
All right, yeah. First line, Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Giroux. Second line, Huberdeau, Bennett, Duclair. And then third line, Marchment, Lewis Starin, and Reinhardt. Fourth line, Thornton, Achari, and Maxman. And then the guys that are injured, which, let's see, we got Nudavari, Lomberg, Aaron Ekblad, Anton Lundell, and Patrick Hornquist.
Wow.
That group. Try and throw Patrick Hornquist on there, too.
And Lundell?
Right? I mean...
He was looking like a... Lundell was looking like a Calder guy for a little bit mid-season, no? He was having a fantastic run.
Yeah, a good start.
But, I mean, this... Again, same as the Rangers here. Their 4 lines can roll past teams. I mean, it's ridiculous how stacked they are, and their injury list too. That can fill in the spots. Looking
at that lineup almost makes me want to change my cup picks. It just looks too dangerous. It looks too good.
Yeah.
I think a lot like New York. I think they have one of the best goalie tandems in the league. Yeah. With Knight and Bobrovsky.
Oh yeah, Bobrovsky's having
so good.
Really good bounce.
I'm just gonna be so disappointed in a way to see, like, obviously we look at the first round. The first 2 rounds, are going to be 4 very good teams that are going to be exiting the playoffs.
Absolutely.
From the
Absolutely.
East, which really sucks because I would there's so many matchups I want to see.
I would love to see everyone play everyone like a
But
little round robin.
Rest
Oh,
assured,
almost.
I don't think anyone can make a guarantee on who comes out of the East.
No one's safe.
Yeah.
No one's safe.
No one.
I think if you listen to Spain Chicklets, Biz said every team except for Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's right.
I guess
He's right.
we've touched on all of our winners of the trade deadline.
What did Washington do?
Washington just did nothing.
They
I
picked
wonder.
up one guy from the previous years,
Yeah.
and
Part of
then
me wonders if
it's coming to the end.
they're just.
I think
I don't know.
one of
There's
the
gotta be
biggest.
a lot of attention around them too with their Russian. They have a lot of. They're known to have a lot
Yeah.
of Russian players.
Plus Ovi's goal race as well. He just passed Yager. I mean,
Yeah.
that just puts eyes on the team, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if they really, if they're really looking for the cup. I don't know.
Like one of the biggest issues that a lot of analysts addressed was that they need more depth on the D, and they didn't even touch anyone. And there's still guys that were left untouched in the trade deadline, and they didn't even
Yeah, I'm really
Attack.
questioning why they kind of just sat on their fingers
Yeah.
and didn't do anything. But
It-
one less team to worry about, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting out of the East, no one's really complaining.
They're
right?
sitting in a wild card for a reason right now.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, then do we want to skip over and go to Calgary?
Yeah.
Calgary.
I don't
Jason?
think they did any. Can I start this one
Yeah,
off?
cool. You start Calgary.
Yeah,
Let's
you,
see
you
it.
know the guy real well. What's his name?
Yeah, Yarncock.
Yeah.
Making up names for players every day. I don't think they did anything crazy here, obviously, with these two names, Ryan Carpenter and Yarncroc. But, I mean, it's depth, right? That's what teams need. They've had the same core for 4 or 5 years. They know what they do. They know what's going to happen. They just add a little more speed to their bottom 6, I would think.
I think they know what they're capable of. And last year, Oh, sorry, we're watching a hockey game right now at the Leafs, and Mikheyev absolutely nasty goal on Dallas.
Yeah, I have to say, I'll give him the credit for the nice goal, but I'm very critical of Mikheyev. This is probably his 50th breakaway of the year on the PK, and he finally fucking finished a goal.
Yeah.
I'll go opposite. I really do like. I
I
like Mikheyev. I mean, is he Austin Matthews? No, that was a fantastic
That was
goal.
pretty
We're
nice.
just watching the replays now for the listeners. But yeah, no, I like Mikheyev. That was a nice
I
goal.
think Cole and I could take sides that the goalie was just way out of position there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing Nico Das. He's only
Yeah.
played 13 games this
Yeah.
season. No wonder he got him.
Oh yeah, back on Calgary.
Yeah, okay, back to business.
I had a bit of a fun fact for Calgary, Calgary listeners or Calgary fans out there. So Calle Yarncroc, Jacob Markstrom, and I believe Lindholm on their defense. The 3 of them all came from the same small town in Sweden.
I saw that.
Wow.
And I believe it's Lindholm and Yarncroc who are cousins, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true.
You guys saw that too?
Yeah.
I thought that's kind of neat. I mean, it speaks volumes for chemistry, I guess, depending on how much stock you put into that.
I
But
know we're on the trade deadline, but I feel like the country of Sweden is really developing as a hockey nation.
Yeah, I think they're understanding what needs to be done to create great NHL players,
Yeah.
and they're taking more time in developing them and having these programs set to develop these players. Because
I'm
Canada,
seeing a lot of Swedish players that are really starting to take off right now.
yeah, it used to be all Canada in the first round, and now we're seeing a ton of players coming from the European leagues.
Yeah.
And I think it's due to them. I think Canadians, when they go over to play overseas, they're either teaching or developing them new programs to learn from, and that's why you're seeing a lot of new Sweden prospects, and even Germany's getting a lot of recognition now too.
Yeah.
Right?
Completely not into this, kind of, but not really. But I have a distant uncle that coaches in Germany.
No way.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah,
Holy.
is he like your
Stop the
mom's
talking.
brother's sister's aunt's niece nephew?
I mean, you probably maybe two less terms, but yeah, probably.
Add that to your resume. You get farther in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, touching back on that, I think the European countries, I like the Germany honorable mention because I think Germany is starting to play. They're starting to develop a lot of good players.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to mention how really excited I am for I don't know, my head's moving fast here, but I'm really excited for the trade next year in 2020. Sorry, the NHL draft next year.
Yeah.
2023. between Bedard and that 16-year-old Russian.
Oh, the Russian kid is so good.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be
So
the
good.
NHL's next Crosby versus Ovechkin rivalry.
You think so? Eh?
I'll
I
hop
do.
on with you on that.
I do.
Absolutely.
I'm
That
really
Russian
excited
kid
about
looks
that.
fantastic.
He does.
Fantastic.
All right, that's
Alright.
question time, but
Yeah.
we'll stick to this a little bit. We have a few more teams we want to touch on, and then we can go into question period. Question period's a little bit different today, so we'll explain that in a bit.
We'll get to that soon.
Could
So then,
go- let's just go right to Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah, Fleury.
wow.
Florida, Minnesota.
Fleury sweepstakes are over, right?
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone could really have predicted this one.
No, I mean, I think it looks great if you're a Minnesota fan. Like, as
Yeah.
from Minnesota's side, I think you fleeced them. No, did they give up a second for that?
They gave,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
yeah.
much.
And Chicago took half salary?
Yeah, I mean that was expected though.
That was expected for sure, but I think you could have milked more than just a second out of them for that. I
Oh,
mean, if
for
that was
sure.
the going rate for Fleury, whew.
Yeah. A little background noise on that one too. That Fleury and the GM of Minnesota actually won a cup together. Billy Guerin.
Bill Guerin,
That's
yeah,
right.
you're right.
So to make a little connection there, I think that
Oh.
might have had something because then he can give us some leeway on what happens next in his life and career.
Yeah.
There's another there's another executive who played with them and won that cup together. I can't get the name from it right
Is it
now.
Recchi?
He works for Minnesota. I know that. I heard that on I believe Spit and Chicklets. I'll give Spit and Chicklets all the credit for this, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard from them. There's a third executive there who won the cup with Guerin and with Fleury as well. So
It's pretty
yeah,
exciting.
I mean, I think as being Marc-Andre Fleury, I mean, obviously that helps, right?
Yeah, you have connections going to a team, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have connections, and I mean, to be in an organization where someone you previously played with a few years ago is your GM, I mean, I think that gives you a lot of trust.
Yeah.
One, he already trusts the organization from the beginning, and two, I think it's a great move for Fleury to push for a cup.
Yeah.
I think as far as Fleury goes and Minnesota, I would be pumped to be there if I'm Fleury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're-
I think one of the interviews they had with Fleury, I think right after the trade, I think they were talking about like next year's possibilities and the reasoning behind Minnesota, and one of the ones was saying, of course, family was a big issue, and Minnesota was a reasonably close location for Fleury and his family to
Yeah.
be a part of.
I also heard that they're closer to Chicago as well.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
where he doesn't have to like uproot the fam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I like the Nick Delorier too. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
one thing I have to mention too.
I'm not sure if you saw that game yesterday. I think it was or 2 days ago against Vegas. No, I think it was yesterday. The game against Vegas. Delorier, I think like 5 minutes in, he scores.
Yeah.
Absolute rip, and then he goes in with a big hit. It's like the next shits
Yeah.
later. The fans are going crazy, right?
Yeah, I think he was a great piece to add. From what I've heard, like Minnesota is just gonna be one of those teams that are really tough to play against.
Yeah.
Middleton's a big defenseman they added too, from San Jose. I really like everything they did.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think,
And we had this conversation earlier in the week too that Minnesota is in a win now mode. For the listeners, next year, so they bought out Parise and Ryan Suter last season, which means that next year they're gonna have a harder salary hit
yeah,
on the cap. So they're kind of in a win now mode because they're not gonna have the salary cap room to bring guys on next year
Yeah.
and make a in-depth lineup.
if you're not caught up to what the buyout was for these two players, Suter and Parise, I'm pretty sure they signed an 11-year, $9 million contract back in, I'm not too sure, I want to maybe like 2011,
It wasn't?
2012.
Yeah.
Or like earlier than that. But basically, it was like a few years left on their contract, maybe a couple years left, and since they thought these guys were, they're not playing to the top tier of potential that they could, they
Yeah.
bought them out, which means doubling the contract length and then splitting the contract money in half.
Yeah. This is not bad. But anyway, we'll keep moving on. I don't know, do you want to touch on the Penguins with...
Rickard Rakell, I mean, they gave up.
Chase wants to touch
Of course.
on the Penguins.
They're looking absolutely like a top tier contender for this Stanley Cup final here, but I think it addresses some major depth issues on the Penguins.
Mhm.
I mean, they have a couple guys injured. I think Jason Zucker. I think he's gonna play really well with Malkin.
Yeah.
I think he can probably.
He'll make some room for Malkin out there too, or
Yeah.
wherever he plays. But he's a big guy that gets the
Yeah.
puck moving around. So.
And I think with the contracts for a lot of players on the Penguins ending this year, with Malkin, Letang, and Rust, I think Raquel could be a possibility, a replacement for Rust.
Yeah.
I think Rust has probably earned a bigger contract or has done more than Raquel has.
And probably
This
what the
season?
Penguins can afford to pay him,
Exactly.
considering that they're gonna have to go into a rebuild here soon.
Yeah, I think you may see Raquel on the Penguins next year and then Rust off of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like the pickup. It's good. I like
they
it.
gave up quite a bit. It's Dominic Simone and Aston Reese,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's second. But
Yeah. I wanted to like shout out the Seattle Kraken and the Ducks for offloading a lot of players, but receiving a lot of draft picks
Oh
back.
The
my.
And
Kraken have 34 over the next 2
Yeah,
years.
they have
Just
a
a small
lot
amount of
of
34.
picks coming up, and you know what? That's probably what they were looking to do all along, right? Was to
Mhm.
sell off at a time. You know, we're all business students. We know the
ups
old
and
theory
downs.
of supply and demand.
Yeah,
So the
picking up-
demand was high.
picking up
They had the
assets,
supply,
right?
and they sold off, and they got a lot back in terms of draft picks. So it looks good. The future's
basic
bright.
business here.
Shout out to Byron Eastman for microeconomics
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There.
All right. We'll move on to the question period.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
So
This week's question period is solely going to be based on the NHL awards. Because we've talked about the trade deadline. I think the NHL awards, we don't want to start predicting them by the time they come out in 2 weeks. Or 2 weeks
yeah,
ahead.
we want to call the shots now, kind
we
of
wanted
thing.
to give it a month before anything gets concrete. So we'll start off with, the Hart Trophy MVP award.
Yeah. Who are the front runners?
The front runners are Matthews, Shesterkin, and McDavid. You know, go take your pick. Doesn't have to be one of those three either.
Yeah. Honestly, as much as I like seeing McDavid win it every year,
But yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool to see a goalie win it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you haven't seen it in a while.
I think Shesterkin is a very valuable person to take in the MVP race because
Yeah.
we haven't seen a goalie post this good of goals against and save percentage in a long time. And as much as I love Matthews, like he's also bolstered with a team that's very, very offensive, which helps him in terms of like putting up good numbers. But Shesterkin, like to be able to make that many saves and steal games, it's really strong. So
I think the last time a goalie has won the Hart Trophy was Carey Price in 2014-2015.
yeah, so it's a good time. I'm gonna take Shesterkin to win.
You are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I would also take Shesterkin. He's too dominant right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Matthews win it, but
Another player I was thinking was Huberdeau.
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
I think he's very underrated. There's not much talk about him. I think he's having an unreal season.
I think it's the media coverage in Florida that kind of damages their value towards a Hart Trophy.
Yeah, they don't really.
Obviously, like Matthews and Shesterkin are part of the original six, and then McDavid's part of a Canadian team, which makes the market a little bit easier to get access to.
And it's McDavid.
See,
You expect, right? I mean,
And the
he's
name
built
just brings it.
He's built a portfolio where you're supposed to win every year.
Yeah.
See, and that's part of why I think I'd like to see Florida do well, is because I think the organization that they have right now, like not just the players on the ice, but the executives and the coach they have, I think is criminally underrated, and I think
Yeah.
a cup would be fantastic for that
I agree.
franchise.
We went from like counting the number of fans in the building to now having a very Stanley Cup contender team.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would think you'd make fun of this team like
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see like an organization like turning it around because obviously we want the best for hockey all around
Yeah,
throughout the
for
league,
sure.
regardless of who it is. So, yeah, I like it. Do you guys want to keep moving?
Yeah, let's get on
Norris.
to Norris. Yeah.
I like this. This is a very, very heated debate. I'll let one of you guys start this one off.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, the Norris is for the best defenseman in the league. So we have at least the front runners would be Makar, Hedman, Fox, and then Yossi.
Yossi's a honorable mention.
He's an honorable mention.
/ fourth place.
For me, I'm taking Yossi though.
Yeah.
For me, I'm taking that honorable mention to win it.
Yeah.
I think he's having an unreal year. I think he's already surpassed the European defenseman record for
Yeah.
games played. I think 50 and how many points he's had. And he's on pace for the first 100-point season for a defenseman since like the 90s.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So you're Yossi then?
I'm taking Yossi, yeah.
Honestly, I really like that pick because he is so valuable to their team. And Makar's also it's hard to underrate Makar because he is so good. But then again, you have to look at him as a D-man altogether.
Yeah.
You know, we know Makar as like the very good offensive defenseman, but I think Yossi as an all-around defenseman would be the best.
All around puts up points.
Yeah.
Really good structure on this defensive game.
So if anyone's looking to bet the Norris Trophy winner, I'm pretty sure Yossi's at plus 2,200 odds. We were talking.
Yeah, no, the Beyond the Bench boys are recommending Roman Yossi.
Yeah.
I'll hop on that too.
Yeah.
For the exact same reasons Chase is.
Yeah,
I don't need to say anything for the exact reasons you picked. I was thinking.
This is what an
100%.
honor here.
Not often we're all in the same boat. Too,
Yeah, it's
you know,
pretty
in terms
rare.
of picks.
That's two. We all chose Shesterkin and then Yossi. Holy.
Yeah.
Is there much point in talking about the Norris if we're gonna give Shesterkin the heart?
Sorry, the Vezina.
The Vezina, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's not worth really talking about because we all think Shesterkin should probably win that.
That being said, the other guys on that list, Markstrom, Freddie Anderson, Andrei Vasilevsky, I feel so bad for those guys because they're all having incredible seasons. They're playing great, and they 100% have a case to win that Vezina any other season.
But like how often does
But
a goalie
come
win a
on.
Hart?
Any other year, like Anderson, I really like the way he's bounced back from Toronto. Like it'd be a really good story if he did win it, but I just don't think you can compete with Shesterkin.
Yeah.
No, I think any other year without Shesterkin, this is an extremely tight race between Freddie and Markstrom and Vasi.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to the Calder
The
Award.
Calder. Alright.
I'll start this off then.
Yeah, go for
I'm going cider. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's gonna be much differentiation, whatever you want to call it, from the group here. He's playing like a vet
4 for 4.
as a rookie.
Yeah.
How do you Cider looks comfortable, and you can't say that about many rookies. He's not afraid to throw the body. He's not afraid to counter a hit with his own.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
I mean, we seen that last night or the night before.
I'm
That
not-
was 2 times in the night.
Yeah, threw 2 big hits.
He had the puck in the one and he
I
hit the
know,
guy.
it was-
Like
I
what?
think another one too is he was trying to dangle out one guy. He may have lost it, but he's still
Yeah.
comfortable enough to dangle out the second guy and then still make a play
The
and
con-
sauce it over.
The confidence coming from that kid is unbelievable, and
I think
future
I
superstar.
think it's really hard to argue in his case to not win because he just seems like a guy that's already played 4 years in the
Yeah,
NHL.
he's
Exactly.
really
He
comfortable.
seems
I've
just
never
like a
seen
vet.
someone make so much impact on the team. And if I'm Steve Yzerman right now, I am licking my chops for the next 4 years.
Oh my, yeah.
This is an
100%.
exciting team. We talked about this last week, but it is a very exciting team that's up on the uprise and in third place front running for this award. There's Lucas Raymond. So
Another
you got
Red
two
Wing.
guys in the top 3 that are both Red Wings that are front runners for the Calder Trophy. That's got to be exciting.
Well,
Yeah.
right now we've got as our front runners for the Calder, we have Cider, we have Zegras, we have Raymond, and our honorable mention is Bunting. If you were to take Cider out of that conversation, Zegras and Raymond are both fantastic players who could win the Calder as well.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
agree with that. I mean, Zegras has you can probably look at his resume so far, is what he's done in this season. I mean, he did the Zegras assist,
Yeah,
and then he did pull off the Michigan against the Montreal Canadiens too.
if you can piss off John Tortorella and he's not even in hockey, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Yeah.
No, I think, but I think the 3 of us are going Cider, right?
Yeah, I think Cider's probably. I think he's a clear choice for the Calder here.
Yeah, I mean it's bizarre. We've agreed on all of them so far. You don't see that almost ever from the 3 of us
Honestly,
as far as hockey
we
talk
also
goes.
need to look at Cider's golf game.
Yeah.
That's a big off-season thing we need to look at. If he ain't good in the off-season, is he really that good?
Yeah, if he can't play like a scratch golfer, he loses the Calder
I think
automatically.
Stevie Y's gotta make some moves there then.
Stevie B rips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if him and Cider are ripping the Beano together.
Oh,
after
Yeah,
yeah.
games.
maybe
They're
that's
real close.
maybe that's why he's so relaxed out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A little bit of
Must
THC.
be.
Cider, come on here for a second. Here you go.
Cider, please come up to the office. I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Jack Adams Best Coach of the Season, we have Our front runners are Sutter, Gallant, Brunette, and our honorable mention is John Cooper.
For like anyone that's not super familiar with the NHL, Sutter is with the Calgary Flames, Gallant is with the Rangers, Brunette is with Florida, and John Cooper has been faithfully with the Lightning for a while now, with 2 cups under his belt.
Who wants to start this
I
off?
want Chase's opinion first.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna choose any of these guys. That's how biased I am to the Penguins. I think
Buckle up, guys.
I think Sullivan has been absolutely tossed around. He's always been so close to winning these, and he's always been from the behind, like coming from behind type of situation, or he's always been looked upon, where he's like, oh, the Penguins are gonna be good this year, and Sullivan's always found a way to turn the team around, even with injuries. I mean, I'm just gonna say the first game of the season, you had no superstars except for Jake Gensel on your team, and they won. I think was it 3-1 or 4-1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I wouldn't even say Gensel's a superstar.
I mean, honestly, I think John Cooper even said after they lost, he's like, we were literally playing against an AHL team out there.
Yeah, he did. I remember that quote.
mean,
I remember talking about that with you as well.
I don't know if that doesn't show that Sullivan can't make a winning team out of nothing. Like what else can you say? Like this guy's won the cup twice. He hasn't won a Jack Adams still. He's been the underdog in every conversation at the start of the season, and he's always made it to the playoffs. Maybe his playoff performance recently hasn't been top notch, but
there's no way you're gonna convince me on this.
I know I'm not. You can choose the winning teams and their coaches. Go ahead.
Yes.
I just don't think Sullivan Yeah, it takes good coaching, but then again, I don't think it's Jack Adams worthy of what he's done. I don't think he's had really any adversity. I get it. He's had the injuries and stuff, but he's had the same core. He's had the same deal.
So John Cooper's out of the equation then.
Oh yeah, I was nowhere close to taking John Cooper.
Interesting. So who's your pick?
Isn't Sutter been with Calgary for a bit? Even
A year
last
and a
year?
half.
A couple seasons, yeah.
Year and a half too.
Yeah.
Alright, just carry on. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm taking Brunette, Florida.
That was strange when they got rid of him from Vegas. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That was...
I don't think that was a good move.
No, I just think that for him to have the ability to step in after Joel Quenneville leaving, it's a big role to fill. And he also kept the team on a very good hot streak.
Wait, did you say Brunette or Gallant?
Brunette. From Florida.
Brunette. Oh, shoot. What am I thinking?
The team hasn't swayed one bit since Quenneville left. And that's very tough, too. When you have someone, if you're a coach, you have to be the team leader. You have to guide the guys in the right direction. And after Quenneville left, he had to pick up right where he left off. And so far, I haven't seen any difference. If not, I've seen a very good team that's went out there and done the job. So, I don't know. I'm rooting for this guy to win. And he's also from Sudbury, so why not, right?
Hey, that helps.
It
helps.
Right?
Shout out Sudbury. I'll move into my pick. I don't know that I even have a pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think
It's difficult.
I think the top 3 are all worthy. I wouldn't be upset to see either of them. Even John Cooper, again, I wouldn't have a problem with winning. Who I think will win would be Gallant in New York. I think it's fantastic what the team's doing. I think, I don't know who's going to remember, if anybody does, listeners or Chasing Cole. Initially, when I believe it was Lundqvist retired, they made a few trades. Yeah, and they just said, you know what, we're going to rebuild. If you're a fan, it's going to suck, but we're going to be good eventually. They're way ahead of where they thought they'd be.
Oh,
yeah.
Way ahead of where they thought they'd be. And I think when you get to talking to teams that are ahead of rebuilds like that, I think the coach plays a major role. He's had a lot of young guys come in and out of the locker room, I'm sure. And somehow that lineup is still incredibly competitive every single night. So, you know what? Yeah, I'll make myself a pick now just off that. I'll take Gallant.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That being said, they're all worthy. Yeah, I know.
It took us all the way to the Jack Adams to get some diversity on there.
Yeah, it did.
Right, we're moving on to the betting segment.
Do we want to wrap up last week's a little bit? Check where the
No.
boys' tallies are at, or what?
No.
I
Of
do.
course, Bowen wants to fucking figure out where last week's came
Then
in.
perfect. I can take the lead on this. So, the boys' betting tallies from last week. If you remember, Chase was bold and took the Coyotes over the Penguins.
Over 6 goals, too, that didn't hit.
With an over 6 goals. Did not hit. So he's 0-2. We're going to move into Cole's pick, which was the Devils over Edmonton. That didn't hit either. So Cole's now 1-1, and your boy, speaking right now, is 2-0, riding with the Rangers. The Rangers beat the Lightning last Saturday night. I feel great about it. I love it. There's my boy Gallant working for me right there. You guys want to talk about your picks for this week?
For me, being like a hardcore Pens fan and just straight up saying Coyotes over Penguins
Yeah,
over
I
6.
thought that was pretty good.
I thought it was too, but I thought I backed it up. Jory played.
I think we all
Jory
have to
played.
give,
I said DeSmith would play,
I
but
think
Jory
we all
did.
have to give Chase a shutout and a little bit of ease on his picks,
Are you kidding
considering
me?
his record, considering of how hard and bold he was this last week.
I went against my own damn team.
He went against
guys.
his old faithful team just to try and,
I tried
a bold
to
bet.
make the odds high so we
So,
can get
I
some good.
I respect it. And I like it, Chase.
Yeah,
I
you know
like
what?
it, baby.
If DeSmith would have played, different story.
Yeah. Anyway, my pick. Actually, you know what? I'm
Now
gonna
talk
give
about
myself.
Talk about your Devils and Oilers. What did you have going there?
No. Give me 5 minutes to talk about my superior pick of last weekend.
You lost.
No, I picked the winner of the Valspar.
Oh,
In
yes,
golf last
that's
week.
right.
No way you're talking
Yeah,
about
I knew he
this.
was gonna
I
talk
fucking
about this.
did, and I'm giving myself a little pat on the back. Thursday afternoon, I was sitting there during sports analytics class, and I tossed a bet down on Sam Burns to win the Valspar.
Sorry, Cameron Eschke.
What did I say?
Said you were listening during sports analytics class. Let's hope Cameron doesn't listen to this and knock your participation down.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
How
But
many-
at least
how
he got the shout out.
How many days in advance?
That's 3 days in advance.
Woo. This guy's a
That's impressive. I'll
So-
give you that. That is
And
impressive.
he won last year, which makes even more. I don't know. I feel like guys don't always go back to back year after
Not
year.
golf.
So, and it's very rare. So I just want to give myself a shout out for getting that.
yeah. Give
Sam
yourself
Burns.
a shout out. Shout out.
Anyway, rolling on back to hockey.
Devils and Oilers. What did you see, bud? What did you see?
Don't even give him
Are you
that,
kidding
though.
me?
Don't give him that.
Edmonton was
I need-
struggling.
I need.
Over 6 goals with an Arizona win over Pittsburgh, Chase, buddy.
There is 6 goals, just not over.
I was
6.
just saying I respected him for that, but
Thank you.
Devils over Edmonton. Devils were rolling there for a bit. Edmonton was struggling, but then I also didn't realize they were in the midst of a 5-game winning streak. So,
Oh, the Oilers?
yeah.
We do our
Perfect
research.
time.
We do our
So,
research before these games. don't worry.
Obviously.
So obviously I didn't do my research before my pick, and
To be
so
fair,
everyone knows that they're authentic picks.
every pick we do here for Saturday, we say it 3 days in advance. So,
Yes, we don't actually know the odds going in.
There could be injuries. There could be
Yeah.
streaks broken, streaks created.
Who the
Yeah.
fuck knows what could happen.
firings, all that, you never know.
So anyway, this week I'm going big, I'm going hard, and someone's taking down the Carolina Hurricanes, and it's gonna be the goddamn St. Louis Blues, baby. Husso is playing too good for the Blues. The Blues are rolling. I want to see them beat the Hurricanes.
What a story for Husso, eh?
Husso is having a great year.
Really
Yeah.
good year.
Yeah, he is.
Nearly taking over Jordan.
He's 16-5, and I was comparing it to Freddie Anderson. I think he's 31-15, so they're almost percentage-wise at the exact same record. So I'm going.
Has Jordan Bennington, are you worried? I think he already is, right?
Well, yeah, you have to consider it though. When that year that he won the cup, Husso was supposed to be the guy, but he was injured.
Yeah,
Bennington
Husso
was
was
stuck
above him
in
in
the
the
role.
depth chart.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my
Alright,
pick.
You can give your pick.
Oh, I
I
can
think
give
I'm
my
gonna see
pick.
plus.
Pick.
I think I'm gonna predict the odds too. I'm gonna say that the Blues over Hurricanes is gonna be about plus 180.
For the
You're
Blues.
predicting
For
the
the
odds.
Blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be about plus 180. So I think that's a great pick.
All right. Well then, I'm gonna move into my pick. Last week I went with the Rangers over the Lightning, and I hit. Unlike these two scrubs.
Hey.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. I love you guys. Anyways, yeah, I hit last week. The Rangers played a great game. The Lightning apparently didn't, so I won that. I don't have much to say on that, to be quite honest. I
Winners
didn't.
win, baby.
Winners win. What can I say? I'm built different. For my pick,
Keep stroking yourself off here. Holy.
could I pump the tires any bigger? Anyways, I'm going Flames over Oilers this week. Battle of Alberta. I think it's gonna be a great game to watch, and it's gonna be a tight game. The Oilers, as of Wednesday, keep in mind, are on a 2-game losing streak. Before that, they had a 5 or 6 game winning streak. Yeah, I think the Flames will roll them right over. I love the additions they made, and I like the way they're playing now. Obviously, Markstrom's playing great. I think Yarncrocs going to have an impact. But yeah, I think the Flames are playing well, and I think they're going to continue to play well. And
I mean,
I don't have much.
Lost to San Jose last night. To the Reimer
Yeah,
dog,
my
baby.
boy Reimer. Yeah.
Shutting the door.
Starting to make some noise.
I will say I heard talks about the Leafs were talking to San Jose. I saw that in one single Instagram post, and I was all over it. Absolutely.
I would have liked to see it, but I
Be
think
excited.
Reimer is. I don't think if I'm San Jose, I wouldn't be giving him up either if he's playing like this.
Yeah, he's playing great. But yeah,
34 years old.
exactly. He would. I think he would have been a great depth move, to be
As a
honest.
goalie,
Especially given they waived Mrazek. I think he would have slotted perfectly into that backup role. But
As a goalie at 34, you're basically in your prime
yeah,
nowadays, from what we understand. Yeah.
yeah. I would have loved to seen him. I texted my dad. I would have bought a jersey if had that happen. But my personal hopes and dreams aside, yeah, no, that's wrapping us up for the betting segment.
Whoa.
Whoa, we didn't
hold
get to
on.
Chase
hold
dog.
on. I didn't know Chase had to go. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone
it's
cares.
not just
But
Chase's pick. It's Chase's whack pick of the day, and it's Chicago over Vegas. Chicago over Vegas, and
Chase only takes picks that are at least plus 200 or more.
if you don't play, yeah, exactly. You're
He's
not
big
making
dick
much.
in it.
Chase, how do you
He
walk?
likes making the big money. He doesn't care about two
Yeah.
losses. He
So
wants
what
the
if
big
we-
money to make it back.
So what if we lost $20 these last 2 weeks, guys? We're about to win like 40 this week. We're gonna
Yeah.
make it back plus more.
How do you walk around with those big balls hanging on the ground, eh?
It's hard, it's stressful. It weighs a lot, you know. But if you want my explanation about it, Vegas is on an absolute shithole right now. They got shut out the last 2 games. Winnipeg 4-0, and then Minnesota 3-0, and they're going into Nashville tomorrow. Right? You're gonna say, "Oh, Vegas has got it against Nashville." No, right? I mean, they're basically on a cruise control of absolute failure. I must say.
Okay, you're very very critical of VGK, but
My question is to you: who is Chicago's starting goaltender?
The guy that what's his name? Some with the L.
Lehkonen?
Lehkonen? Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Was,
I wasn't
he
sure, I
should've
was just
played more.
curious.
I have to be honest, Chase. That's the one thing that would make me. Normally, if Fleury were in Chicago, I would
might
definitely
give you
back
that,
you
yeah.
on this, especially him playing VGK. But
I think they haven't. I don't think they played him enough this year to develop. I think last year was a really good year for Lehkonen,
it was, yeah,
and they kind of just took it away from him.
Yeah.
With Fleury coming in.
it's understandable.
But
All right.
yeah, that's our picks for this week.
There's one thing I wanted to add in before we move on to other sports.
Yeah, go
For
for it.
sure.
It was Dubas calling out our boy from SPAD,
Oh yeah.
Kyle Davidson, for leaking the Fleury details.
Are you
Brock
kidding
versus
me?
Laurentian.
Yeah.
One hell of a fight,
It
eh?
was an Ontario University SmackDown Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
The boys were fucking fired up. Davidson responds back with a, "Yeah, I'll talk to Kyle about it in the future." This guy doesn't care.
Absolute fucking
He
savage,
is making
dude.
his mark in the
Holy
league, and he does
pigeon.
not give
Dude.
a fuck.
Pigeon.
Leak that shit and let's let Kyle and his Toronto media
You know what?
fuck that over.
Fuck Kyle Davis, leaking all that shit, making the price go up on everyone. Kyle Davidson says, "Cut the bullshit. I'm from Laurentian SPAD. I'm
That's
calling
right.
it how it is."
Let's
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you can't differ from our SPAD boy. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate
I
it.
stand with Kyle Davidson.
I might be a
100%.
Leafs fan, but I'm not backing away from my guy from SPAD.
No way.
No, for sure you
Spad proud.
got to back the SPAD grad,
Exactly.
right? The alumni,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's paving the way for us.
Yeah.
100%.
Good for him.
It's awesome.
Good for
I'm
him.
hoping to come for his job in a few years. Maybe not in Chicago,
Yeah.
but around the league.
Maybe he can toss us in the VP or do
Yeah,
some
you know,
stuff.
Just
hook us up
casually,
with
eh?
some tickets. Hey, how's it going?
Not a big deal.
No,
It's
no big
just-
deal.
Everyday stuff for us.
All right, so I know
Other
Bowen
sports.
is dying to talk about the biggest transaction of the day / week for this guy. Tyreek Hill goes to the Miami Dolphins.
Wait, who's that?
Don't
Oh,
even.
Who's that
Tyreek
guy?
Hill, Mr. I
Bowen.
can almost run an Olympic 200
That
yards.
was insane.
Did you see
I
that?
did see the line.
In high school.
Yeah,
That was
I
his
think
high
it
school
was,
time.
It was Usain. It was Andre DeGrasse.
He was
and then-
fourth. He was fourth.
That was
Third or
insane.
fourth.
All right, Bowen, dive into it, baby. Give
Go.
us your
That's
details.
The Kansas City Chiefs apparently had a mental breakdown and traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins, Cheetah himself, for a first this year, a second this year, and a third and a fourth next year.
And so everyone knows, Bowen's not even looking off a phone or anything right now.
I'm not. I just
the guy's
remember
been
this
on
deal.
Twitter all day looking at this deal, and he has memorized it.
I could not love this deal anymore. I mean, that's a lot to give up for a receiver for you football fans out there. Yeah, I agree.
He was
also
direct
the highest paid wide receiver now, right?
He is, correct. $30 million a year, I believe.
Bowen was direct messaging the Jets so they wouldn't acquire him or do anything. He was really taking it personally.
If you are wondering why MetLife Stadium outside you can hear sobbing, it's because I've been sending brutal Twitter messages over to them. They're clearly upset, and it's too bad. No, I love the trade. I mean, realistically, where the Dolphins are sit, they're well under the salary cap. And I mean,
They have room to play, right?
like 70, 80 million under the salary cap. I think it was a great trade. We just picked up Armstead yesterday to bolster that O-line that so desperately needs help. I love the boys there now, but you got to make it better, and you have to protect Tua. I love the moves that were made. I love this trade. It gives no excuses to Tua and to the offense. No, it gives no excuses for Tua not to have a great season. I love it. The running backs room there has been redone as well. Edmonds has come in. I think we brought another couple depth players in. I like it. I mean, realistically, the Dolphins' issues were, as a Dolphins fan, it was offense. And I think you've just done some crazy moves to make that offense better.
Yeah. And they added Teddy Bridgewater, too, for a little QB depth.
Absolutely. Not even just QB depth, but I think Bridgewater is going to push Tua for that starter role. I mean, realistically, if Bridgewater plays better at whatever point of the season, I don't care who starts.
Could be a good little tandem, too.
Exactly, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I'll agree with you on that tandem there. But yeah, no, I think they're going to push each other, and I think that's when you get the best out of your players. So yeah, I'm a happy Dolphins fan. I won't take up too much of your time with my my excitement here, but holy crap, I cannot believe
fastest wide receiving.
Fastest wide receiving corps in the NFL. Actually fastest offense. Everyone on the Dolphins team and on the not the team, obviously. But everyone on the Dolphins offense, as far as running backs go and wide receivers go, have all ran the 40-yard dash in under 4.55 seconds, which is, if you don't understand that or you don't get that, that is insane. That is insane. So yeah, high-powered offense, and we're coming for you guys in the AFC East, specifically the Bills.
Yeah.
I'll call them out now, any Bills fans out there.
Well, fuck, I made the Super Bowl pick of the Bills, and now with that really makes a tougher division for the Bills to get through, and additionally, it also moved Miami's odds to win the division and win the Super Bowl by a lot.
Plus 7,000, so
they moved
plus
the
400.
needle a lot.
Not 400, I think it's a little higher than that. I didn't actually see the odds. I didn't know about the odds change, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it moved a lot, I'll tell you that.
It was big.
It's big news. But yeah, I mean, what else do we want to talk about with some sports here? I mean, baseball's back. They're playing games today. That's awesome. I love seeing spring training games.
The CBA changes? I'm not super familiar, but you guys know.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I can just pull that out if you want. But some of them I will apply for next year's, not this year's CBA, or not
this season.
It will not apply for this season, but some of it will happen for next season. Some of those will include the pitch clock. Ooh. So that will be. You have a timer to pitch. I know they tried to incorporate that a few years back when they've introduced it for like the spring training to see how it feels.
They introduced that to the Atlantic League as sort of an experiment. Yeah.
And it also changed the double headers is now not 7 and it used to be 7 innings for a double header, but now it's gonna be 9.
Both games are 9 innings.
I think with a pitch clock, I don't know when they both come into play, but I think ideally the pitch clock that gets the game moving faster, and I think that's the one thing that baseball's needing.
100%.
A traditional baseball 100%. Fan may not agree with me,
especially but as a doubleheader too, right? I mean,
as a new baseball fan, I just kind of followed last year, so I'm kind of more intrigued because I think it's going to get the game moving a little bit faster and it'll be more exciting to watch.
Agreed.
So I think as shitty as it is to have a lockout and have everyone hold out, I think at the end of the day this was ideal.
I think much necessary changes that a lot of fans will like.
Yeah,
like it's
so.
it was shitty at the time, but like look at these new rules that are implemented. It's gonna make the game faster. Another big one here is a universal designated hitter.
Yeah.
So I think the NL League doesn't have to have their pitchers. They don't have to have their pitchers bat.
Mm-hmm.
They can now choose if they decide to.
Right.
Even for like
Shohei Ohtani rule.
yeah, exactly, for the Angels. I mean, you're gonna let your pitcher hit, right? I mean,
yeah, hell yeah.
for sure he's gonna hit. Well, I mean, it gives them the option now where it doesn't make a huge difference between the leagues, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
nice. I'm not too sure if that's gonna be implemented this year. I know another thing that's happening next year is the bigger bases.
I like that. Was it 15 to 18?
I
15
think so.
inches to 18 inches, I believe, right?
I think so.
I think that's good. I like seeing the bigger bases. I think it's going to be better for players. I think it's going to be better for baseball as well. I mean, you love seeing the steals with the dive, and then you like to see the catch, or not the catch, sorry, the tag. Yeah, I think it makes baseball more exciting. I think it adds a lot to baseball, and yeah, no. I mean, baseball is a sport that needs to evolve. Obviously, you can see hockey evolve all the time. I mean, it's pretty clear to see hockey evolve. Football's evolved as well.
You haven't seen much from the MLB
Exactly.
yet, right?
You haven't seen much evolution come out of the MLB, so
the lockout sucked. This is how the game's perceived to be more exciting, and
this is how you change your game. I mean, realistically, all games and sports have changed to sort of match with the times or get with the times. So I think it's just time for baseball. I think every sport sort of goes through growing pains, and I think it's just baseball's turn to go through those growing pains. But I think the rules are beneficial for sure.
Another big thing, if you're a fan of postseason, they're upgrading it to 12 teams now. So if you want, here's the layout how it would go. The top 2 teams in each league will receive first-round byes. The single elimination wildcard games are replaced by 3-game series, which would be the number 3 team versus the number 6, and the number 4 versus the number 5. So there is no single elimination wildcard games anymore.
nice.
I like that.
There's also
They added more playoff teams, did they not?
yeah, it's 12. Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Oh, my bad.
And
Sorry, Chase.
there is no game 163 tiebreakers. So any ties for division lead or wildcard spots will be resolved by a predetermined set of tiebreakers, like the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they all improve baseball. I think it all makes it more appealing to younger.
You want more teams doing it, right? I mean,
Exactly.
the Blue Jays not making it last year were, I think, dreadful. I mean, it was.
Oh yeah, that
It was
was
tough to see
horrible.
because they had such a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, bias as a Blue Jays fan
Yeah.
from the 3 of us for sure, but yeah, no, I think it's all good improvements. I would have liked to seen a little bit more go on with minor league player pay.
Yeah.
And housing, maybe. I would have liked to seen a lot more benefits for minor league players.
Yeah.
If I'm being quite honest.
You feel for those guys, right? Because they want to make it, but obviously, like,
Those kids are
someone's
living
gotta
off
play
like
there.
nothing, PB&J sandwich every day, and they still have to go out and perform, and there's no guarantee ever for those kids. So
yeah. And
massive respect to any of them.
And as we touch on that too, we also mentioned on the socials there that the NHL and the NHL, sorry, it's the Professional Women's League and the Players Association are teaming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did.
The NHL tried to combine leagues. For
Yeah.
those guys,
So
right?
that's good to see. As we're talking about, maybe women's leagues aren't minor league players, but they're also underpaid players.
I think the CBA
For
and
sure.
the NHL is going to come up soon enough. You may expect
Yeah.
a lockout again.
Yeah.
I mean, since it's CBA agreement.
But
so.
yeah,
But-
while we're on the topic of people being underplayed, I think the Women's Hockey League here, this is great. This is optimistic for me.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great thing to see for the future of women's hockey.
It's a concrete step in the right direction. And
Yeah.
I think that's what hockey needed for a while and what women's hockey needed for a
Exactly.
while.
I think so too, because we just watched that thriller of a fucking Olympic game between the U.S. woman and the Canadian woman, and who doesn't want to keep seeing that go on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
And this is how we keep building the game worldwide, right?
And
So-
hopefully at some point they get televised as much as the NHL at some
they're
point.
close. They're
Right?
getting
I mean-
there. They're getting there.
But yeah,
A lot of work to be done, but
Exactly.
they're close.
I think the future is bright for them a lot,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
For sure.
I'll just hop on a quick more things with the CBA agreement with MLB. They're adding the addition of a draft lottery. So 18 teams that are non-playoff will be eligible, but the top 6 teams will be assigned to the lottery pick, and the 3 worst have a 16.5 chance of landing the top spot.
Right.
The committee would decide on rule changes. So there's talks about robot umps, larger bases, a ban on the shift. Oh yeah, ban on the shift, right? That's
That's
big
gonna
one.
be huge. That's definitely a big one.
Yeah, I think that basically implements a change where you can't move your players to one side to favor a left-handed, right-handed batter. They actually have to play their position.
Yeah.
It kind of cheats the system, right? So it should allow more runs and a lot more exciting plays to happen. I believe is what they're trying to get at.
And I think it would.
I think so too. Yeah, I think, and I guess they're also adding advertising patches on the jerseys and helmets.
It'll be interesting.
So,
I feel like every league's moving that way. Anyway.
I think so too.
It's kind of way. It's just a way to like rebound after COVID and everything to make up some financial problems.
Yeah, exactly. I think it helps a lot with their. I think even with salary cap and stuff for the NHL, I think they didn't have any room to increase it the last couple of years, especially with COVID. So I think it's just a good rebound to revenue. So I know, Bowen, you may want to talk about the shift.
Yeah,
in MLB.
That's interesting. I didn't see that coming, to be quite honest. I don't really know what banning the shift does. I mean, it creates more offense for sure, but...
That's what I was saying. I was thinking that since you have to play a position now, like you can't just move like a third baseman can't go in behind the second base.
Yeah, you're not going to see your shortstop in right or left field anymore. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to it. Let's see how it plays out. More offense in baseball is never a bad thing, and I think that's a lot of... I know we've said this a couple times, but I think that's also something baseball needed. But yeah, no, I don't have... I'm kind of indifferent to it.
I think it's actually the change that I'm curious to seeing play out.
I would agree. Right? I'm curious in seeing play out. I will say I'm not pumped about it, but I'm not sort of down on it. I'd love to see how it plays out and see where it goes from here, but yeah, I'm indifferent. It is what it is, and I do want to see how it plays. I'd like to see at the end of the season if hits have increased, if runs have increased.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty interesting stat to see.
That's going to be your...
that would be the number you check to see on how effective it was, and
that's the proof you want to see back, right?
Fan engagement increase too, right?
100%. Fan engagement is huge for the MLB. I think that's got to be something that has to improve.
Yeah, these next couple of years are pretty big for them, so hopefully that happens. Is there anything else you want to talk about regarding leagues? There's NBA as well, and anything you guys want to talk on there, or
personal league?
F1?
No. Oh, yeah, we can talk about F1. F1 season's gone down. I'm a Ferrari fan. Ferrari won too. I'll keep it brief at that. And Forza Ferrari. I was actually going to mention we didn't give the lug update at the beginning. No lug update.
Yeah.
Hey?
Well, see.
The boys are in the playoffs.
The boys are in the playoffs, and it starts tonight.
Heated battle.
You guys will not hear about it until next week, so stay tuned, as you guys should always.
And if we do move on... next week, while we're recording the pod, we have completed 2 playoff games.
Yeah,
to make it that far.
That's true.
So stay tuned for.
We won't make it that far.
We could be deep into the WAG Cup playoffs, or we could be eliminated by the next episode. So obviously, staying tuned will be ideal for everyone.
Yeah.
High stakes.
Yeah, I mean that'd be exciting tonight. Hopefully everyone
shows up, gets the job done.
Yeah.
And
so, should be an easy dub, easy clap, but
100%.
It's the confident side of it, but yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Go big, go home. WAG Cup.
Awesome.
I think
I don't know. There's much else to talk about. We don't want to kill anyone with more deadline talk.
No, we definitely want to wrap up at this point, right?
Hopefully the trades impact the teams going forward a lot in the NHL. I'd like to see they take off in the playoffs too. So. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We'll get you hooked up on the log info, and we'll talk about what players have done after the trade deadline. We'll see
One
what
thing I
Sugar's
want to
doing.
touch on before we move out of this.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's go.
Is the possibility in the West of who makes the playoffs and who doesn't.
It's very questionable, right?
Dallas
is leaking in.
There's a chance so we have Vancouver at 68, Winnipeg at 70, Vegas at 72, Dallas at 73, and Nashville at 78, all battling for wild card spots. So you have 4 teams within 5 points of each other there that are going to play big games with each other in the last 20 games or so.
So who holds those 2 wild cards right now?
Nashville and Dallas.
Nashville and Dallas. And
Vegas is out right
Vegas is not in the playoffs right now.
wow.
now. Eichel leaves a non-playoff team to play on a non-playoff team.
Yeah, and
I
that'll
love
make a huge headline story, and that's going to be a big deal for him to go for because he's really not having an outstanding contribution to the team right now. So they're having a tough time, and I don't know. It's going to be really tough for them to get things going if they don't find a groove here soon.
Well, let's see if they win against Chicago this weekend. So
Yeah.
maybe that'll be a starting point for
Chase's
them. Right?
bet will have some dictation of what goes on.
Yeah, we'll have to see, right?
But
For
other than
sure.
that, stay tuned to the NHL. Keep following us on our social posts.
Yeah, hit us up on all socials.
And if anyone has something that they want to hear or contribute to, like, please let us know.
Yes.
Questions, anything.
Yeah, tweet at us. Our tag's at Beyond Bench the, right?
I
believe.
honestly think that is
Yeah,
right.
it's
I think that
Beyond
is
Bench
right.
the. Follow that on Twitter. We have Beyond the Bench on Instagram. Hit us up there. We're on Facebook too. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you get hooked into the socials. We post some stuff all week. We got some picks going on. We keep you up with the NHL news. And yeah, get engaged. Let us know what you want to see. Tweet at us, comment us, DM us. You know.
Anything. Let us
Yeah.
know.
We want to hear
We
all
wanna
that
be better.
feedback for sure. We want to do better. We want you guys to love what we put out for you guys. So yeah, make sure to hit us up.
Yeah. Any sponsors out there too? You
Honestly,
let us
yeah.
know. We'll
Cough,
be-
cough,
we're-
Manscaped, NordVPN.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Good pod.
great
we'll
week.
wrap it up.
100%.
Thank you for joining us on the Beyond the Bench podcast.